YouTube land, welcome back to Daddy's Weekend with your man Jassy X. Cecil the mascot, he's back in the house. We came back inside for a little interview instead of being outside. Outside was the bomb though, I'm not gonna lie. Sunshine gives me energy, makes me feel good. 10 things to do with your children. When my son was younger, both of them, they started riding motorcycles at the age of 3 years old because their daddy was a motorcycle enthusiast. I sold bikes, I lived, I breathed, I ate motorcycles. So that was their first motorized outings with me. It taught them how to become better drivers. It helped their motor skills, knowing braking and the function of the gas, when to slow down, depth perception. My youngest son my oldest one was amazing, to be truthful, because he was actually blind in one eye. And he used to ride with his head down because he only could see what was in front of him. And it just shows you what kids can overcome and adapt to certain situations. They're very intelligent. So the 10 things you should do with your children. Take your children places where they'll remember. Do outside activities. You go to the beach, you build sand castles, you swim in the water with them. If you're really good swimmers, you teach them how to swim. Take the fear out of doing certain things for them. Those type of activities really help them develop. And I'm a big advocate for outdoor adventures. Go camping. Number two, go camping. Even if you never camped before, do something adventurous even for yourself. You will learn with your child. And as you're learning, sometimes you'll be surprised. Your kid will know more than you do when you're doing something for the first time. Like, how you know that? Kids are very intelligent, but those will make lasting memories when you do adventures versus just staying in the house or taking them to the mall. Forget that. Do outside things, soccer, baseball, just this outdoor activities. Go build a tree house. Those are fun things to do. Number three, give your children structure in their lives. Be consistent with what you do with them to keep them their brains developing. Kids love structure, so have some structure in their lives for them, and keep your word. When you say you're going to do something, do it. Say what you mean and mean what you say. So when you tell a child you're going to do something, you best believe they're not going to forget, especially if they're really, really, really interested in doing the activity that you said you're going to do. Keeping your word is very important, whether it be your mom or your dad. If you say you're going to do something, please do it. Keep your word. You keep honest, they'll learn to keep honest, okay? I know there are particular situations where you have to cancel, but for the most part, always try and keep your word. If you say you're coming up for them this weekend, pick them up. Don't disappoint them, okay? That's very important. Number four, attend all functions that your child has, as many as possible. If they have basketball games, go. If they have soccer, go. If they have football, go. Be an attendee of your child's activities. Just don't leave it up to the mom, if she's single, to do those things. And you see these kids nowadays that are graduating college, that are being in the NBA draft or going to the NLB, and their dads are missing. Why? Why? Because you refuse to take responsibility for your half of your DNA. Come on, man. You got to step up. That's something you're not going to hear me stop saying in my channel, is that dads, you have to step up. Your kids need you, okay? Number five, discipline. When it comes to discipline, I'm not speaking about, beating your kid, even though the Russians say, 60 lashes a month will change anyone. from their bad habits. You know, that's entirely up to you as long as you're not abusing your kid. My kids got a few spankings, probably three each, which is crazy. I was able to really converse with my children to let them get the point on how serious I was. So beatings weren't a staple in my house for them. You know, my kids are really good. I have to say that the universe really looked after me with my two children because they were really good kids. So you know, when you have really good kids, you know, reward them. I had a cousin though. Let me tell you, I told you I'm West Indian, right? I had this cousin that this kid was so bad that they used to tie him up to a tree in the hot sun to punish him. He was, oh my, and to this day, no one would believe he's the same child because you know he's quiet, he's a you know Christian guy and just quite completely different from what he was when he was a child. He was just so irritable and bad and just got into everything. And yo, that's how they used to punish him. They used to tie him to a tree and leave him out in the hot sun. Crazy. That'd be child abuse up in the U.S., but in the West Indies, man, yo, whatever it takes. You know, you have to show them that you're the authority. You are the parent. You know, you cannot let your child rule you. You have to rule your child. You know, not to the point where you're abusing them, like I said, because there is physical, verbal abuse, and that's not good. You know, but make them know that you're the master of the kingdom. Okay, you're the king. All right. Number 6, keep your child out of grown people's conversations. All right. I don't know if it should be on the list as one of the things you should do with your kids, but it's something that's important to me. You know, a child should be seen and not heard. You know, they shouldn't be in your conversation. You know, you shouldn't smoke Mary Jane around your kids. You know, that's a no-no. You know, you don't want to be drunk around your kids. None of that. But that's just a little tidbit in between my rules of things to do with your kids. There's a couple of things not to do with your kids too. So we'd have to put that in there as a caveat. You know, you know. But yeah, just don't do adult things with your kids. It's just not good, man. Do kids things, you know. Speak to them clearly. Don't Google Gaga talk to them, but you know, make sure they stay out of adult businesses, man. You don't want kids in your business. You don't want them in your conversation. It's just not a good look. Number 7, read lots of books. Oh my goodness, I can't tell you how much a book means to a child. And reading is a pathway to travel. You are able to see places in your mind, and even with the illustrations in some books, that, you know, if you can't get on a plane and go there, you can travel with a book. Read lots of books. I mean, even from the time they're in the mom's tummy, read to them, talk to them. I mean, this stuff really works. You know, my son was able to read the Bible at 4 years old, the one that was blind in one eye. That shows you how intelligent this child was. He could read with one eye, and he was reading like full on Bible verses. It shocked me because I didn't teach him. My mom taught him. You know, it takes a village to raise a child, and if you have good grandparents and, you know, aunts and uncles, you know, you can help develop your child, you know, by reading. Reading is so important. I don't care. Reading, that should have probably been number 1 on my list as in activities, is reading books with your children. In one of my past videos, I said that My son lived on the West Coast. My youngest son, he lived on the West Coast with his mom. And when he was with me, I had a collection of storybooks that we would read every night. And I think one of them was called Little Critters. And Little Critters had a multitude of different stories in it. You know, Peter Rabbit. I can't remember them all, but I remember Peter Rabbit was one of them. And this kid loved me to read to him every night. So much so that when he did go back to his mom after he was on vacation with me, I would call him and he'd be like, Daddy, read me a story, read me a story. And I said, oh, which story would you like to read? And he's like, oh, Little Critters. Tell me about Peter Rabbit. Oh, and he also had this one called Stone Soup. Stone Soup is not only for kids, it's for adults. And Who Hid the Cheese? Is that Who Hid the Cheese with the three mice? That's a college book, okay? It's a child storybook that they give to kids in college. Stone Soup is an awesome book, and it actually teaches you how to work together, you know? Very good read. I can't remember all the children's books that I had, but those are the two that really came to mind for me that were really important. Actually, three: Stone Soup, Little Critters, and Who Hid the Cheese or Where's My Cheese. Those are really good things, and it builds their vocabulary very well. My son, the little one, oh my gosh, I used to have to try and pay him, bribe him, just to shut up. At before 2 years old, this guy was forming sentences and paragraphs the way he spoke, and I was like, where do you get this from? But his grandma was a talker, a yapper, yap, 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 and he always was with her, and he learned how to speak very well. When he graduated from college, and I was there, and um, he did a presentation. I can't remember what it was that he spoke about, but I think it was the graduate speech on I can't remember what they call it. I'm so old. I didn't go to college, so I can't remember. But he made a speech, and he was so articulate, and I was so proud. I was ready to cry. I tell you no lie. I'm not a crier because I cried so much when I was young that I ran out of tears. My mom always told me, you know, stop crying. Save them tears for when you're gonna need it later. And later on, I couldn't cry for crap. I think the last time I really cried was when my brother passed away. Well, not really. My brother, when my best friends passed away. And I think that's probably the last time I cried. I think I must have cried 5 hours straight on my way back home from where he had his accident, because we were in another state, and that really shook me to my core, you know. So yeah, I was all out of tears. But what I do cry about is watching flipping movies. I watch a sob story in a movie, and a little tears start jerking down my eye. Yeah, I guess I still have a little softy inside me somewhere, but pretty much I'm stone cold now, hardcore. So, you know, I don't cry that much, you know. And there ain't no woman making me cry no more either. That's for damn sure. I'm only kidding, y'all. Y'all are good. I might cry for one of y'all. Number 8, do not let the phone or iPads or TVs be your child's babysitter. I despise that. I don't recommend that. I know times have changed, and you know, with technology, we're giving our children these things at an early age. I remember one time in the 90s, I had a Motorola, the big silver brick, and I don't know, brick, but a brick. Before they were bricks, and then they were semi bricks, and it had like a big battery on the back like that. And I locked the phone somehow, and I could not figure out how to unlock this phone. And I thought it was like a rap. I gave my son, he was like maybe 4, 3, I don't even remember. And the kid unlocked the phone. And that was in the 90s, man. And I was like, how did he do this? But he unlocked the phone for me. I don't know. Shit. I don't remember being that old back then, but he unlocked the phone for me. You know, it's a good thing to give them toys that you can get a hand-eye coordination with. You know, I believe in physical games, blocks, and puzzles, and the old school things. You know, in early development. You know, I believe that those things are better than iPad or give them a phone when they're crying. If they're crying, let them cry. You know, don't give them those things to pacify them. I don't think it's a good look. You know, you want your child to develop in a proper manner. You know, they got time for tech stuff, man. They don't need it that early. Number 9, let them cry. I think I touched on that a little bit. Let them cry. It's good for them to cry. Okay, it develops their voice also. I remember I was in the mall with my son. He still had on Pampers, so he must have been like 2. No, actually, he didn't have on Pampers. I'm mistaken. He didn't have on Pampers, so he might have been about 3, maybe 4. And he wanted a gumball or something, and I don't give my children candy. I think that's a no-no also. It keeps them very hyper. If you don't know about sugar, it's like cocaine. You know, it gets you up and then it makes you crash. You know, and you should avoid giving your children sugar as much as possible. It's just not good for them, you know. It's not even good for us as an adult. You know, everything has sugar in it, and everything you eat turns into a sugar. You know, that's a part of the energy, you know, metaphysical things, you know, that we don't need to go into right now. But sugar is not good for your kid. And so he wanted this candy, and I refused to give him this candy. And he did a sit down on me. He's an Indian, by the way. His grandfather's straight off a reservation, so he must got some real, and his name is Geronimo, some real Indian in him. So what he did was he started a crying session, and he sat down in the mall, refusing to move. And me being who I am, I sat down on the bench and I spoke to him. And you know, these people are walking by, and they're like looking at him crying. I mean, this kid was just crying for like a half an hour. I tell you, no lie, a half an hour. I sat down there patiently for a half an hour and let him cry. I didn't care, you know, because he had to understand that I was the master, okay? I am the monarch of all I survey, and anyone under me, my child, has to listen, has to learn. So I let him cry for a half an hour. He literally just sat there for a half an hour. And when I decided enough was enough, when I went over to get him, dude was wet. He peed himself. He just peed himself because he was, you know, he was mad. And I remember that's something he used to do all the time. I think about it now. If he'd get upset, he would push a poop out. He was potty trained. He would push a poop out in his drawers just because he's mad and pee on himself. He was a character. He was very strong-willed, and he's still strong-willed, but in a good way now. You know, it's not destructive or demonative. You know, he's just got a strong will. You know, whatever he wants in life, he's going to go towards it. And he understands discipline. You know, he plays ball, so he has to have a coach. He's had a coach for a long time, you know, going through AAU and, you know, middle school and all that. So he's very disciplined. And he did karate, you know, so he's well-rounded, you know. Okay. Number 10, takes lots of pictures and videos of your child. Every place you go, everything you do, got these cell phones that can record in 4K and just beautiful things, and it's going to be so memorable when your child gets to a certain age and you can look back at all these photos and recall all the moments of what they did and where you were and how happy of a time it was. It's going to be priceless, and your child might not remember those moments, and when they look back, they're like, oh yeah, now I remember, just because of the visual effect that triggers the memory. You know, my son, I have plenty of videos of him, and lots of pictures of him, and he just like laughs when he's like, oh yeah, daddy, I remember it. And just I've lost phones that had videos in it that I'm so peeved, because as the technology, advanced, the phones advanced, and I might have lost it because I didn't download it onto a computer or something, or a computer crashed, and I didn't. And some of the things I just wish I had back, because I remember them, and then I remember, you know, um, a picture that's like so beautiful, and that memory, was so beautiful, and I don't have it to show him. I don't have it to look at so I can smile. I'm a little old school, so I have actually regular pictures from the cameras, because that's what I used to use. You excuse the noise because it's 4th of July weekend, and down here in Florida, fireworks are legal, so everybody likes to pop off. But yeah, I go in the garage, and I have a dresser in there, and I open the dresser, and I have all these plastic things from when you develop your film. You go to the camera store, and some of you probably don't even know this because it's so young now, that they used to like give you a folder, a little plastic folder, and all the pictures in there, and then the negatives in there. And I would just go in there, and I'd look, and I'm just smiling. Even pictures of myself, of things I used to do back in the 90s, and my friends that I used to be with, and some of the pictures I just like, wow, and it just bring back so many good memories, man. And I have one friend that his dad used to love taking pictures all the time, and he has pictures of me that I don't even remember, like when I was really, really young. We had a really nice neighborhood, very family oriented, and his dad used to take an immense amount of photographs of us, and we weren't even looking, we weren't even thinking about it, we weren't posing, just random shots, man. I remember he took a picture of my youngest brother, who passed away at 19, under a tree by my friend's house. And all the cars were from the 70s, and my younger brother and my son, my first son, looked like identical twins when they were younger, at the same age. And I showed my son the picture, and I said, who's this? And he said, oh, that's me. He's like, I don't remember taking the picture, but that's me. And I said, look really well. I said, you sure that's you? He said, yeah, Daddy, that's me. I said, look at the cars. And he goes, wow, those cars are really old. I said, that's not you. That's your Uncle Jeffrey. And he's like, but I look just like him. He looks just like me. And that's what pictures do. That's what photos do. It shows you the past. It shows you the future of different generations, that you can look back and say, wow, look at how this person looks identical to this other person. But those are some of the 10 things that I think are really important with your children. And if you're not doing it, start doing it. Become better parents. Do things that you're not going to get that precious time back. You can't pay for that. You have to do it now. You can't wait and say, oh, wait till I get some money. No, you don't need money to go to the beach. You know, you don't need money to go to the park. You don't need money to go shoot basketball. You don't need money for them to climb on the monkey bars. You know, stop wasting time talking about I need money. There's so many things you can do, even inside the house. Cook with them, teach them how to cook, learn how to cook together. My son asked me for Christmas one time, the youngest one, he wanted an easy bake oven. You think I didn't get it for him? I got it for him because if that was something he was interested in and it was something creative, I was more than happy to get it for him. I got him an easy bake oven. I don't know if he ever cooked something. I think he did, and he showed me. He showed me on a picture or something with him baking his cake. But those are things children enjoy, man. Being creative, pardon me, being creative, and having structure, man. And again, love your kids. Be in love with them, you know. And don't forget to wear that African shea butter, the raw stuff. Makes you beautiful. I'm out. Peace.
So what do you play?
No respect.
You in America now. You hear me talking, nigga? You in America.
Murderer.
For resident.
Murderer.
For resident.